And you knew that at no point in time, in June, July, August, anyone went over to Alameda, searched the house, searched the property for any dirty clothes or any murder weapons.
I know that I did not go, and I'm not sure what the other agents in the investigative circle had done.
Well, if you went over there, if you had gone over there on the morning of the 8th, scoured the place and not find anything, that would sort of help nudge Alec outside this investigative circle, would it not?
I can't testify to what if, sir. I did not go.
This could be a problem for prosecutors. Investigators didn't go to the Alameda property. This is the property that belongs to Alec's parents. That's where his parents were living, right? So his mom is there, and this is part of his alibi. Crucial. But for whatever reason, the area wasn't searched. So earlier today, we jumped into the truck and we went to the scene. We went to Alameda. Let me show you what we found out. We're on the road, taking a drive to the Murdaugh property, that's sprawling 1,700 acres on Moselle Road. And we're doing it for two reasons. Number one, I want to see what it looks like, what you can see from the road, the shed, that whole area. But number two, more importantly, I want to retrace Alec Murdaugh's route that night because that's his alibi. We're about halfway there from Walterboro on our way to the Moselle property, and there's nothing, right? There's a lot of farms, a lot of woods, and maybe a house here or there, and absolutely no lights. We are now on Moselle Road. A couple more homes here than we've been seeing, so it's a little more residential, but still extremely rural. Okay, looks like we're approaching one of the entrances to the Moselle property here, and the one thing that really sticks out to me is that there are no direct neighbors to Alec Murdaugh. This is the main entrance. You can tell nothing's been happening there for quite some time. So we're gonna jump out and take a look at this entrance and what we can see and where it relates to that route that he took that night. So right now we're approaching the area where the hangar and the kennels are. And I want to get out and I want to take a closer look at all of that so we get some idea of what there, you can actually see it. You can actually see it from the roadway, that area, and this exit from the property. 4147 Moselle Road, that's where we are. This is one of the ways you get into the Murdaugh family property. If you look behind me, this is what we've been seeing throughout the trial. Back there, the hangar, the kennels, the shed, that's all in that area there. I can't go there, I can't take you there because this is private property. We were reminded just a few minutes ago when we arrived by one of the local deputies, so we can't go on the property. But that's where the double murders took place. Alec Murdaugh, as we know, says he didn't do it. He wasn't there at the time of the murders, but he did talk about being on the property and leaving the property that night. So if he drives down this road back onto Moselle to exit his home, he's going to drive right past where Maggie and Paul are. But he says when he went to go visit his mom, he didn't leave this way. He exited from down the road, and you can see it from here. There's another exit/entrance to the property, and that one is actually a little bit closer to the main house. This is the house where Alec Murdaugh said he was. It's the main house, and when you leave there to go to Moselle Road, the quickest exit is actually the main gate. And once you go through that main gate and you hit Moselle Road, Alec Murdaugh says he made a right-hand turn, which would be the opposite direction of the murder scene, made that right, and then drove to his mother's house. We're on our way to the Alameda property, and you've got to take a road called 63, more of a main road here, but still no lights. So it's going to be dark when he's doing all of this. The sun set about 8:29 that night. But here's the thing. This is the quickest route to his mother's house, and it's about 18 minutes from his property. So 18 minutes there, 18 minutes back. How much time did he actually spend with his mom? As we get closer, things are getting much more residential. There's some businesses and an actual street light with a town. As we're driving towards the Alameda property, we are driving parallel with the train tracks, and this seems to be the area of this town that was developed. This is the Alameda property. That's where Alec Murdaugh said he went. It's his alibi. He went to go visit his mother inside that home, right on the other side of these train tracks next to a major highway here. The question is, what was he doing there that night? Because he did go there. Was he just visiting his mother, or was he getting rid of some evidence and cleaning up? That's a question for the jury, but the bottom line is, when he left the home, he went down this road, back to the highway, for that 18-minute drive back to the scene of the murder. So there you have it. I mean, eye-opening when you see the whole ride. It's not a quick ride. It's not like around the corner. I mean, his mother doesn't live around the corner. You got to drive a bit, and there's some, long stretches. There's no lights. All this taking place after dark. The sun set around 8:29 on that night. So all this in the middle of the dark, in the middle of the night, you're going to see your mom. Why? It's fascinating. The other thing that I've noticed since being here is that people kind of, settle down early in the evening, right? Once you get past 8:30, 9 o'clock, there's not much happening anywhere. So why would that be the time that you're going visiting? Interesting, right? All right, let's bring back our guest, Chanley Painter, Matt Harris with us. Also joining us, Joseph Scott Morgan. He is a professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, former senior investigator for the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office, but most importantly, the host of the Body Bags podcast. You got to check it out. Great to see everyone. All right, Chanley, let's talk about all this. This is a couple things are fascinating here. One is the alibi. You take that drive back and forth, it wouldn't leave a ton of time for him to spend visiting with his mom.
Right. He maybe was there around 20 minutes at his mother's house. And he grew up there. He's familiar with these roads, even at night. He knows how to get there. And we expect the digital cell phone data to follow his path, how long he actually spent there. And her nurse was there as well, who will testify about his visit.
That's crucial. That's crucial testimony. What she saw, what she heard, how Alec Murdaugh was acting at that moment. Was everything seemingly normal? All right, Matt, what do we know about the Alameda property itself?
Well, where you were standing, where the railroad tracks are, a little trivia from what I've been told, that is where I believe it would be his great-grandfather, was hit by a train right there. And that was the beginning of the suing the train companies and making that their livelihood for a while.
That's fascinating.
And that's why that was built. They built that up there because it used to just go through, and they changed it because of that.
Now, the other thing, we're looking at this property, Joseph Scott Morgan. If, in fact, the prosecutor is going to argue that he's getting rid of evidence, I mean, we looked at this property. There are just a ton of places where you could get rid of stuff. Like, if they searched, which they didn't, where would you look?
Well, there's any number of ways, and just to break this down for you, in crime scene investigation, we refer to primary, secondary, and tertiary scenes. And so when you begin to think about this in this vast area, many things can be hidden. They can be out of view. I think probably for me, when you start to think about that vehicle is a conveyance, how much have we talked about that recently, Vin, talking about Idaho? You begin to think about that vehicle being a conveyance for him. If there was any kind of trace evidence on his person, if he's transporting any kind of items that might be involved in this crime, and we would have to admit that it is a very bloody scene, I wonder how quickly the authorities got to that car. Maybe Matt will have a better answer for that than I. But then you think about the roadway. I watched you driving down the road, Vin, and I thought about all those ditches along the way and all those little areas along the way that he would have known of. Anybody along there knows of. Little cubby holes where you can stop. Can it be suggested that the police would put all of their resources to combing every single inch of that rural space up and down that road? I've seen them do it before with academy cadets from the police department. I've seen them do it with prisoners before, Vin, if you can believe that. How much of that area did they actually comb with a fine-tooth comb? And so, you've got multiple areas where you could have gotten rid of things along the way.
Matt, let me just ask you quickly. We have
100 acres there, too,
yeah,
yeah.
we have just about 20 seconds. How much of a search of his car was done immediately, or of the Alameda property?
Well, they say they found gun residue inside the car. They towed the car that night. They towed Alex's car that night. So I'm assuming
They had an
went through-
opportunity
yeah,
to go
they had
over it.
opportunities
Okay.
there.